Hi guys, it's Neodyinamite and welcome back to Circle Empires! The caster competition, which is an extreme difficulty on the biggest map possible. If you don't know, basically the thing is that content creators such as myself, we try to beat this setting in the fastest way possible. Just so you know, I am recording voiceover after the actual recording of the footage, just so I have a bigger focus on the things happening on the screen, because today I am not a simple YouTuber, no. Today I am the King of Kings once again. And the King of Kings looked upon this mountain peak and he saw good land, rich mountains, and enemies of the kingdom. So what does the mighty king does? In an adversary like this, with bandits, monsters, and other kingdoms that dare to oppose him, he does one simple thing. A thing that every king would do on his place. He hires a bunch of goblins to do basically his bidding because, you know, he can't afford to a real army. So, you know, he sends just the green plague around. Just saying! Tax collectors! You're not collecting tax! Can't hire soldiers! I have to hire goblins! Who are actually a cheap workforce, you know, this is basically sending immigrants to work, but hey, who's complaining? Not me, right? So, the King of Kings have decided to hire the Green Plague. Those are the goblins. For some no reason for the King of Kings, they apparently does not require any type of pay. They just require a bit of food, so sure, that's a win-win for everybody, since the Mountain Pinks have extremely fertile lands. So the King of Kings have decided that he will make farms here, and in time he will pay back the debt. So the goblins were extremely pleased and they accepted the kind offer of the king. Now then, the goblins were sent to fight in the king's name under the royal banner. Do we have a banner? No? Well shit, the King of Kings could not even afford a proper banner for his goblin army, but he had a flag. It was actually a discount from Walmart anyway, but still, he had a flag. And with this flag, he marched forward under the mountain peak, full of monsters, other kingdoms, and basically bandits, just saying. So yeah, basically if you don't know the tactic over here, just gonna put it simple. I've restarted the map a few times, just to get fertile land with the green bushes and trees. So with it I can actually afford the military campaign, okay? The goblins do not require gold, they just go on food. So what I did, I got some cheap food from China, I shipped it to the mountain peaks, and I paid the goblins, who apparently decided okay, boys, gather your cousins, we're going on a trip, you know, we're going to work. What type of work, comprende? Shut up! We're not going to that part of the kingdom. The one part with the gigantic wall? No. No, compadre. No. This side. Widows. So the King of Kings have sent the mighty goblin army across the land. Then the goblins decided that the pay is good and the working conditions are decent. So what did? In order to repay the kindness of the King of Kings, they turned in the frogmen. Basically distant cousins of the goblins anyway, but still, family is a family, right? You don't choose a family, you have a family. So the frogmen happily applied as well to the service of the King of Kings. And so with the grand army established, the king decided that he will beat his ancestors' time in conquering the mountain peak, as they have been conquered once. And if something has been conquered once, that means basically by law this thing is yours for the taking, you know, if you're the King of Kings anyway, so it's who gives a shit. The bandits decided to come in, but we decided to kick them over. You don't take the property of the King of Kings, just saying, you know, this is a life lesson for free. Well, it's not exactly free, but I think you get the idea, right? So, you don't take my shit, alright? Good, right. So, the King of Kings have sent his mighty army across the mountain peaks, for the forests, for the rich mines of, that's not Moria, but we have to come up with some type of name maybe later, around the day in the episode, I don't know, we're gonna see. So the king marched forward. He destroyed all of the bandits and all of the camps of the enemy kingdoms, the garrisons, the archery range, the stables, and every single soldier who was not fighting under the blue flag of the King of Kings died that day. One of the mountain peaks actually became a gigantic tomb for those who dared to oppose the goblin army. And so the goblin marched forward. They were terrible at crafting things, so the only thing they've managed to fight with was a stick and some wooden boards. Most of it from rotten trees anyway. So they walked with this simple equipment in numbers, in vast numbers. And they've conquered. Sometimes they had like a break for a mushroom, because apparently the mushrooms growing on the mountain peaks have healing abilities. Nobody cares, like, you know, whatever. You eat the mushroom, you became healthy. Ask Mario about that thing, okay? I'm not Italian, alright? So, the mountain peak trembled in fear under the march of the goblin army. And then the goblins marched forward. They defeated monsters. They defeated bandits. They defeated enemy kingdoms. They defeated even the undead who dared to place their foot on the mountain peak of the King of Kings. Then they walked on a swamp. There's a swamp in the mountains? What? How is that possible? You don't have swamps in the mountains. That's stupid. The lake I can understand, right? How the heck mermaids and Ariel managed to get up here? Call Disney. Tell them that we found Ariel. It's like nobody was looking for her anyway, but hey, who gives a shit? Maybe we're actually gonna get paid. No? Ugh. And so the goblin army marched. Even though they had to fight with their own kin at some point, though the poison swamp of Shrek was way too much for them. They avoided the poison swamp of Shrek for obvious reasons. The moment when you enter the swamp of Shrek, you basically like see the gigantic sign that tells you get the heck off my swamp, right? For obvious reasons, you know, I'm an ogre. I eat bread out of eyeballs. Duh! So, also there's like a second sign over there saying Shrek is on vacation, whatever, nobody gives a shit. I mean, like his house disappeared apparently, so maybe that was like a long time ago. Who cares? Don't enter the swamp, it stinks there. Shrek was washing his socks in the water like for the past 20 years, you know. I mean, what do they expect from a guy who's living single for 20 years on a swamp? We all know how that ended, right? He found himself a wife and his life basically went to shit. But hey, who cares? He had mushrooms around, healthy mushrooms. But no, find yourself a girlfriend. It's gonna be nice, you know. Give yourself a wife, kids. Find yourself like a good ass friend, you know. He's a donkey, but hey, who cares? And so the goblin army marched forward. They then conquered land by land, inch by inch, garrison by garrison, cave by cave, forest by forest, Walmart by Walmart. And so they marched, and they marched. They've gathered equipment from the bandits and other kingdoms, as the King of Kings was basically not capable of affording a proper like equipment for his goblin army, so they fought what they could with at the beginning, some massive sticks and like, you know, wooden boards, whatever, nobody gives a shit. Later on, like a legion of armored goblins, you know, with iron, like proper swords and armors, you know, that's the thing to be reckoned with. So nobody was even trying to get close to the grand army of the King of Kings, but hey, I still don't know how to make an armor for the frog people. I've tried to put like a bucket on their heads, like an actual bucket, but that didn't work. That didn't work at all. I mean, like the frog people have this very weird ass head, and even if you try really hard, you can't put the bucket on their head. Alright? I also was wondering, like, if I'm gonna send like the greatest maidens in the kingdom to kiss the frog people, will they actually like transform back to humans and maybe some powerful like allies or whatever? Let's put it this way, now the maidens are sick and they're not exactly maidens anymore. Yeah, the kingdom may require some new recruitments very soon after that, but the King of Kings have sent his army. He did provide one support to the Grand Goblin army. The poison towers. Basically we're like throwing rotten food at the enemy and somehow that worked. I don't question it, you know. If a tactic works, it works, okay? Soon, page 10. Read it from time to time. And so the goblin army marched on their kin. they fought with the Goblin King. I mean, nobody voted on him anyway, but that's great, I guess. And then the King of Goblins fell down before the might of the King of Kings, who once again established his title. And then the Goblin army decided to work on another bandit camp, who apparently hired like Gandalf and his cousins as well. How many cousins does this game have? How many? Oh shit, that's really 50? Oh my god. I did not know that Gandalf actually had this big family, but okay, whatever. But the monsters did not actually try to stay still and wait for death. No, they've tried to fight back the Goblin army. And what did the King of Kings do? He decided to use a cash shop item that he got from Walmart, and he spawned a new legion out of thin air. So the enemy crumbled in fear on the sight of the new army, marching again and again. And my voice is dying, I cannot do this thing for long. Fuck. Okay. Actually, I'm gonna cut this thing over here. Not the video though. I just have to cut my voice because this is not gonna progress anyway. Right, also, the counter for defeating the dragons, the ladies, don't question it, okay? This works exactly the same way as it works in Shrek. So the donkey basically managed to defeat the dragon. Here we have maidens who also managed to defeat the dragons. Like basically that's how we do it. Also, if you don't know, we are playing as the frog people. So why the frog people? Because they have like the cheapest unit possible, and apparently this thing is working. What? What? The fraction that I fought when I was first playing for Circle Empires, the fraction that I fought that was the weakest one in the entire game, came out to be the strongest one. How dumb I had to be to did not found that thing before. I don't know, but still, somehow, yes. And remember to spawn the workers from time to time, you know? Just saying, because we kinda like need the economy. I have a grand army. The Grand Army of the King of Kings, the Goblin Army, the Green Plague. They've marched forward across the mountain peaks and they conquered every single possible region there was to conquer. In the end, actually, they ran out of food, so we basically keep the diet to mushrooms, okay? Because apparently the mushrooms just grow like that. And they keep growing and they keep growing and they keep growing and nobody questions it. And I really don't think I want to know what those mushrooms have after effects of. Just like, I mean, like, I don't think a goblin can get sick on many diseases, so it's a win-win anyway for me, right? And yeah, the undeads with the necromancer are still a pain in the ass, especially for the goblin army because they are weak as hell. So, you know, frog people, stinks like swamp, hits like Shrek. That's how we do it, boys. That's how we do it. And if you have problems with range, you just send the... I forgot the name of that unit. The crazy ladies. The one in the yellow thingy. Shirt. Skin. I mean, dress. Whatever thing. Right. So, I think this was like the fastest route I did. Route? Sure? Attempt? It's proper word. This is probably the fastest attempt I've managed to do in Circle Empires. I don't think... I'll be able actually to do this thing faster. I'm guessing probably some people managed to get it faster. I don't care. I had lots of fun doing this thing. Like the challenge of actually doing this thing as fast as possible. This is something I don't do often on the channel because I do a lot of cuts. So doing something like as fast as that is humanly possible is basically not even a thing. But I've enjoyed it. And I'm thinking actually I'm gonna maybe try to do this thing in other games. Because this is basically like fun, and I think this is like a actually like mastering of the game if you are capable of doing something like this in like super like big limit of time. Also, there was like an empty region over here, so I just decided to send like a suicide goblin over there, and apparently he managed to conquer that thing. And there are the dragons, a pain in the ass, my nemesis, the constant thorn in my back and side and forehead. I hate the dragons in this game. The dragons are like the most stupid unit possible. I hate them, I hate them, I hate them. And I still don't know how to counter them. Like, I found this one tactic and I thought it was like successful. It worked for some time, so like, okay, whatever. So how do you defeat the dragons? You send like a bunch of units. Like really, a lot, and you spawn those girls. A lot of them. right? So basically you make like a little fan club. You basically take TikTok and put it inside of circular empires. And then you order one thing that you possibly could in a grand army like this. You just order them to zerg this motherfucker like there's no tomorrow. Yes, burn! All of you in the name of the King of Kings. Holy shit balls. Did anybody order a rocky bow? I still had them hot. A bit burned, but still. No. Oh well. And so the King of Kings finished his campaign of glory and victory. There you go, boys. So, yeah, if you want to try, give it a try. Preferably with the Apex DLC, and let me know how fast you've managed to defeat this kind of settings. Anyway, I'm gonna leave this one up here before my voice is gonna die off completely. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked the episode, please thumbs up a lot. I'll see you all in the next video.